Yasanatya. Translation. What difficult to achieve for determined, what is difficult to achieve for a determined man who have taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet. His feet are the source of sacred rivers like the Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. Purport. The words Air Asritas Tirthapadas Charanaha are significant here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Tirthapada. The Ganges is called a sacred river because it emanates from the toe of Vishnu. The Ganges is meant to eradicate all the material distresses of the conditioned souls. Therefore, nothing is impossible for any living entity who has taken shelter of the holy lotus feet of the Lord. Kardamuni is special not because he was a great mystic, but because he was a great devotee. Therefore, it is said here that for a great devotee like Kardamuni, nothing is impossible. Although yogis can perform wonderful feats, as Kardama has already displayed, Kardama was more than a yogi because he was a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, he was more glorious than an ordinary yogi. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, out of many yogis, he who is a devotee of the Lord is first class. For a person like Kardamuni, there is no question of being conditioned. He was already a liberated soul and better than the demigods, who are also conditioned. Although he was enjoying with his wife and many other women, he was above material conditional life. Therefore, the word Vyasanateha is used to indicate that he was beyond the position of a conditioned soul. He was transcendental to all material limitations. I neither have any qualification, nor do I have any realization. I seek the blessings of all the devotees. Hare Krishna. Kim durapadanam tesham pumsam buddham chetasam erasritastirthapadas charano vyasanateha. So this is a very actually Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the episode that is going on. It's bewildering to actually grihasthas, not only grihasthas but brahmacharis also. On one hand, he has bestowed love of God to his wife. Couple of classic visa. But Shiva Maharaj says, quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, if you have love of God, you don't need anything else. But very interesting, you don't need anything else. That's what we are all trained to. But there you see them enjoying actually, which is, not an ordinary enjoyment. And the husband is creating, of course, this is all Sattvagun, this environment forest. So usually people don't use the mystic powers. You are using your mystic powers means what? Quote unquote, you're not a yogi. Yoga means to reconnect. A yogi means reconnect with whom? Krishna, straight. Yogi means whose activities are oriented towards reconnecting, reviving that last connection is yogi. And many times I quoted this in 7 sessions. The moment you don't do this, you're not a yogi. And I'm honest with you, I was just, it's very easy to speak the verse and go forward. But if you have a background and you quote like this, suddenly you're confronted with a reality in Bhagavatam. You have to give a purport based on based on what is given here. It's a little difficult. Actually, Prabhupada writes, Vasudeva in 10th canto, Vasudeva and Devaki, they wanted Supreme Lord as their child. Their Prabhupada purport was very heavy. You know, Prabhupada writes, you should go back to Godhead rather than bringing the Lord here. So some souls will do that. Somebody who is very advanced like Vasudeva only can do that. So I really wanted to ask this question to some senior devotee, some sannyasi, you know. But Bhagavatam is actually supporting it. Then I conclude myself saying to myself, there is something much more than I don't know. There are things here that I do not know. So because I read recently in a book with the verse Anya Vilashat Sunyam Jnana Karma Dhanartham Anukulina Krishna Bhakti Ruttama. And one more verse in Bhagavatam is the same. If this goal is this, then you don't need anything else. But Prabhupada writes in the previous chapters, you know, a regulated sense gratification, if you follow, and if you follow spiritual life parallelly, you can transcend the cycle of birth and death. Accepted, perfect. Up to Swayambhu Manu, whatever he did is perfect, growth. But when it comes to Kardamuni attained perfection. But Kardamuni also very interestingly what he did, he asked, my lord, I want you as my son. So in other words, what is that word? Dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bhartarshava. That Kama engaged, in accordance with Dharma. Krishna says it is me in Bhagavad Gita. So Dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bhartarshava. So if you utilize that Kama for the procreation of Krishna conscious children, it is perfectly devotional service. It is a perfectly devotional service. And you'll make more progress actually. If not, it will create a bondage. It is not sin. It will create a bondage, but it is not a sin in family life. The last line was a statement made by Jayapatha Maharaj 1999. Actually, January 2000, actually, yeah. And there were thousands of people in Chennai. I was sitting there, and he said this. So, because he was the son of Brahma is a secondary creator. He had a moral responsibility to populate the universe. Brahma is utilizing his children to do this, and Brahma wanted his children to sufficiently purify, wanted his children to purify themselves, but also undertake a responsibility of the father to populate. In fact, it's a difficult service actually for somebody like Kardamuni, because I can go back to Godhead. Why burden? When the moment you put your hand somewhere in the contamination, to the extent your hand is gone, that much extent it's difficult when you take it out. Attachment, when it is detached, it creates a lot of pain. But he was doing it as a service. That's why he was not, and that's why he is considered glorious. So, One time Mother's Day weekend, His Holiness Radhana Swami spoke on this. He addressed this whole thing actually. So what is that? Kardamuni was not interested. But his wife, she rendered service to her husband, giving up the minimums, fasting, no food, nothing. So she served him and she pleased him. And she's not like any other lady. She's actually daughter of the emperor of the universe. Wow. So then Kardamani, when she changed, seeing the situation of the, situation of the home, and she served beyond her capacity. So his wife changed seeing the husband nature. Husband changed seeing wife's nature. So changed means he did not change anything in adharmic way. He changed only to facilitate what is needed. Very interesting, actually, no? He was not a conditioned soul. He was already liberated by this time. He has also bestowed that love of God to her. So, but still, that father's his commitment to his father was there to facilitate that. This whole thing is being undertaken. Because of that commitment is there, that has become a protection, Sri Ram Raksha, to his vows. Otherwise, that's why bhakti is very difficult. Bhakti is very difficult. Adagab Janal Bhagavan ki jai, Nitai Bhatnanwar Bhagavan ki jai. Just give me 1 minute. I don't need. So, because of that commitment to his father, and he does not have any other desire, everything was allowed. Perfect. That is my feeling. Coming back to the today's verse. Kardamuni was not tempted by her, because he is self-realized. He understood. He understood what is nasate vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata. For body, there is no endurance. For the soul, nothing is temporary. Soul is permanent, body is temporary. So, actually, no, as you go forward in sadhana, your discrimination becomes sharp and sharper. That is a sign we are making progress. What is the sign we are making progress? Our ability to discriminate, vichakshana, it has to become sharp and sharper. A person whose ability to discriminate is not sharper, still he or she has to go a long way. What is temporary? What is permanent? Steve Jobs made a nice statement in his Stanford address. Every day morning, I stand before my mirror and say, whatever the decision I'm making, will this help me on the last day of my life? He's not a devotee actually, but still it's a very, very powerful statement he made. Every day before mirror, I would ask this question, this decision I'm making today in business, will it help me on the last day of my life? He said, if the answer is again and again no after 2-3 days, I would reverse that decision, he said. He's telling this. I'm really impressed actually with him. A person who is able to discriminate will have very good control on the food intake because the contamination enters the tongue. Drupada went and asked one sage, I want you to come and perform this fire sacrifice where I want to give birth to a daughter and girl, a daughter and a boy. He said, I'll not do that type of things in my life. Sorry. Please do it. He said, I'll not do it. Please do it. I will not do it. But I'll give you the answer. I will not do, but my brother does it, that type of things. Because my brother, he has no discrimination in whatever food he eats. So he'll do it for you. If you take good care of him, he'll do it for you. Really? He approached his brother. Can you do this fire sacrifice for me? Brother said, yes, I'll do it for you. And he did it. So the contamination, a person who is not very discriminative is little loose on the food intake, anywhere, everywhere. You know, I am already initiated 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I am proposed disabled. These things will not help her. So the brother is telling, one day I saw my brother finding a fruit under a tree. Without even checking where the fruit came, he ate it. My brother is a little loose. He will help you to perform the sacrifice. But I will not do it. Wow, Mahabharata. So, Krishna is a Tirthapada. Devotees are also Tirthapada. When after Mahabharata was over, traveling a lot, finally Vidura came back. And when Maharaj Yudhishthir saw him, Bhavadvita Bhagavatas Tirthabhuta Swami Vibho Tirthi Kurvandi Tirthani Svantasten Gadavruta. So he said, oh my Lord, you're a Tirtha. Why? You're holding Krishna's lotus feet. We all have Krishna in our heart, but why he is calling only, what is his name? Vidura as the Tirthapada. Because Vidura is consciously aware of Krishna's presence in his heart. And we are not aware. You know? So that type of devotee's presence will do immense help to us. A moment association. And before I go forward, I want to, very interesting. What is difficult to achieve for determined men who have taken refuge of Supreme Personality of Godhead? 2 words, determined. And second one is refuge. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Not anybody, everybody, it's senior, junior, no. Are you determined? Are you determined in your sadhana? Are you determined in your eating practices? Are you determined in your sleeping practices? Are you determined to take refuge of Krishna? Yes, then only we have to go to the next line. Bhagavatam is amazing. Prabhupada read, why should Swami, what is the opinion of Abhay Babu about the rest of the thousands of Gaudiya devotees? Abhay Babu is a pounds and shillings man. Abhay Babu means 3 things. Abhay Babu, money, money, money. He doesn't need guru also. He doesn't even come for yatras also. He doesn't even come for taking sangha of guru also. Are, what do you know about Abhay Babu? His heart is a volcano. He is doing his business only for the pleasure of Guru. Hare Krishna. And Prabhupada writes, Vyavasayatmika buddhi. This verse inspired me. Baladev Vidyabhushan commentary, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. Bhaushakanandascha buddhayo vyavasayanam. So Prabhupada as a businessman is writing, I am inspired by this verse. Wow. Spirituality is not about the seniority. Spirituality is about, Amarendra Prabhu says, the realization. I'm very sad to accept I don't have any realization actually. And determined to take refuge. What is refuge? Krishnaika Sharanam. How easy it is to quote when somebody is listening. How difficult it is to apply. We take shelter of our 401k, our credit card, our debit card, and our intelligence. But do I have Krishnaika Sharanam? There is a mantra for Pushtimarg people, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Krishna is very strict when it comes to surrender. 1866. Mam Ekam. That word is there. Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. So if you are determined, like Srila Prabhupada mentions, quoting Baladev Vidyabhushan, Vyavasayatmika buddhi, and you are surrendered to Krishna, and you have taken refuge of Krishna, then what is difficult for you to achieve? What is difficult for us to achieve? If we are surrendered to Guru and Krishna's instructions. It will put an end to the dangers of material life. What is mundane life? Mundane life means death can come anytime. Old age come anytime. Disease can come anytime. One day I went to New York City from Vrindavan. And so I knocked the door, they opened. I said, that person smiled. I said, Prabhuji, I didn't expect you here. My neighbors told you're coming. That's why I want to give you a surprise. I live next door. So that day, we had a program at 9 o'clock in the night. There were probably 50 people in New York City. So then next day morning, I was leaving, and his wife and husband came to me and requested me, can you please pray for us? They asked for, I said yes. I will pray for you. Then I came back to Vrindavan, and 2 months later, very mysterious way, I lost my voice. I was dumb. Then one day I got a phone call. I cannot lift my phone, but this number I don't know, I lifted. But I cannot speak. I cannot speak. Then she said, somebody told me you lost your voice, you don't need to speak, but please listen. So we were longing for green card. Finally it came. That I was so happy that we got green card. That happiness evaporated. One day we got a phone call. My husband's father met with an accident in India. So he went to India. So he could not share with anybody. He came back. Then he started losing his weight. It's like an abrupt drop. So every day doctors were doing tests. 1, 2, 3. Negative. After 20 days. Finally, they did the test. Positive. And but they are telling, so they did a little procedure and they said we discharge him because the insurance was not so great. And this person cannot even move, and they are telling discharge, America. Until it comes, we don't realize those type of things. Do you know any Indian doctor who can help? I used to use Yahoo Messenger for preaching those days because I couldn't speak. I said, I'll try. I texted. And I told one doctor, Indian doctor, please go and help. This lady said she will. 4 months later, 5 months later, I recovered. I couldn't speak so much, but at least I could speak. I could sing. Then I went to New Jersey, and a common friend I met, and I told him I want to go to Long Island before going back to New Vrindavan because I don't want to, 3-4 months ago, I got a phone call. I really don't know what's happening because I became so sick. That person said, what are you talking? It's more than 3 months he left the world. Really? Yeah, she went back to India. That's why you don't have any information. Whatever they asked me to pray has no meaning and no value. So, what is the dangers of mundane life? Attachment. It is not any family, it's for everyone actually. What is that? Everyone will have that attachment. As well as Sadhana Swami says, the enjoyment we go through creates attachment only to make us suffer. The attachments in this world, we have so many. We don't remember how much we enjoy, but these attachments make us suffer like anything. That is why the attachments are there in this world. But somehow, because actually the another problem with attachment is it will not allow us to surrender to Krishna actually. We are attached to our intelligence, we are attached to our beauty, we are attached to our health, we are attached to our family, we are attached to so many things, and we somehow develop faith. And what is the result? Even same thing with William Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Buliya tumhare samsare siye piye vidanana bhyata. Daddy, 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 chichi, so sweet child, So in that strong environment of attachment, our faith on Krishna becomes very weak. Should I continue? Interesting. So that's why devotees, Sangha, Bhagavatam breaks faith on the material world. One day we'll read Indra going through suffering. Another day we read Bali Maharaj going through suffering. Another day we read a great devotee, even, what is that? Pururava, developing immense attachment to such a beautiful beauty. Urvasi. Only you see in the later chapters, he suffers. But somebody like Prahlad, enduring so much suffering, only to be happy. Somebody Dhruva, enduring suffering, only to be established on the path of transcendence. And with a sharp discriminative ability, he makes decisions. Wow. So Sangha, association of devotees. So Lord Chaitanya goes to Puri. He was meeting so many people. That, Bhima Gaya, Yugdesh, that Gaya, this guy was going everywhere. Suddenly he comes across Ishwarpuri. He says, my trip to Gaya is successful just by seeing you. Saraswati Thakur was giving class and everyone was leaving to see Seshasai Vishnu temple. What will you understand? You're massaging your eyes with the deities, with the image of the deity. What can you understand? But a guru, a teacher's instruction penetrates the heart. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Even chanting also, now will not work that much. But as a very bona fide spiritual master, a very senior devotee, sincere devotee, even if he's yesterday's devotee, it works because it penetrates that covering of ignorance. We cannot understand Krishna actually. But one has to hear with the desire to change. Otherwise, they cannot. Prabhupada listened Saraswati Thakur with a desire to change. With a desire to change himself. But later he got that conviction. He preached with a desire to change the world. Our hearing should facilitate changing of the heart. Otherwise, it is massaging of the ears only. So here in this verse it is said, what is impossible for those who took shelter of Krishna? Means with especially Sharanam, means they don't have any other desire but to serve Krishna. Anya Abhilashita Sunyam. I don't have any other desire other than pleasing Guru and Krishna. Bhakti Mukti Siddhi Kamis Sakala Ashanta. Karmis they want enjoy. Jnanis they want liberation. Ashtanga yogis they want siddhis. They are asanta. The moment you have desires, when they are not actually material life means this. You want to acquire more and more and you want to hold on to it. At the same time, you long for those things that you don't have. At the same time, you have a fear for things that you have. If the fear of losing things that you have. This is material life. Straight. What is material life? With your intelligence, you have already acquired some. You want to acquire more. At the same time, you have a fear of losing what you have. That's it. That is material life. That's why what it leads to? Ashanta. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atayeva Santa. Krishna Bhakta, devotee of Krishna, he or she doesn't, true devotee, doesn't have any desires. Atayeva Santa. To the extent we are absorbed in sense enjoyment, to the extent we are absorbed in material pleasures, that much extent, nature will absorb us in misery. To the extent we are absorbed in making ourselves happy, that much extent, metal energy, metal nature will make us absorb in suffering. But instead, Yashoda was absorbed in Krishna's service in Vatsalya Ras. Srimati Radharani was absorbed in Krishna's service in Madhurya Ras. Krishna's friends, they are absorbed in Krishna's service in Sakhya Ras. When we are absorbed in Guru and Krishna's service, to that extent, we become immune from material suffering. To the extent we are not absorbed, that much extent, we are prone to material suffering. But one cannot be absorbed without right amount of humility. One cannot be absorbed without right amount of humility. Humility is Vinayam, Namrata. These quality, without that, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is an epitome of humility. That's why he's doing immense service at age of 95. Writing the masterpiece Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he has that quality of humility. Krishna utilized him at that stage also. When we don't have humility, we'll be either in a mental platform or Annamaya platform or Pranamaya platform. Means that much extent we cannot listen to Krishna's. We cannot listen to Krishna's dictation. That's why these first three are called conditioned soul. But our ability to listen to Krishna's direction, Krishna's instruction comes from Vijnanamaya. At least theoretically we understand, accepting I am not the body but a spirit soul. So for somebody to become, somebody is wanting to become Krishna's instrument, they have to go through Trinadapi Sunichya. I realized again and again in my life I cannot apply, but this verse is, it comes every time before me. You have to go through this only, Prabhu, the fourth verse. If not, you have to stay here only. Anishtita Bhakti, to become a Nishtita Bhakti, you have to apply Trinadapi Sunichya. Nishtita Bhakti to translate into Ruchi Bhakti, Bhakti with Ruchi, that's also this only. Everything this through third verse only. Right. Arjuna shooting arrows and killing people, that was Arjuna's humility because that's what Krishna wanted him to do that. Prabhupada sometimes preaches very heavily aggressive. Prabhupada would preach aggressively and heavily. That's Srila Prabhupada preaching because that's what what was needed to infuse Krishna into the hearts of the conditioned souls. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was telling, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami is telling to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, don't write my name there. Loknath Goswami is telling Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, don't write my name there. Bhogarabha Goswami is telling Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, don't mention my name there. That was their humility. Raghunath Bhatt Goswami is telling, don't write my name there. That was their humility. It was Arjuna's humility to fight with his full vigor and kill people. That is Arjuna's humility. That's why they have attained perfection. Always we need somebody to interpret and tell us what works for us so that we will achieve our perfection in our lives. So Kardamani, what? Brahma was there, father was there. Who told Kardamani what is good for him? What he should do? That's why in other coming chapters, Brahma glorifies Kardamani. He didn't do that to the four Kumaras. Very interesting. He did this to Kardamani. Thank you. You have done a good job. I really appreciate you. Mahabhagavad devotee of a guru caliber, Brahma is appreciating Kardamani means what he has done is perfect. These are the couple of ideas that came to my mind. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong as your humble servant. Thank you for your patient audience. Any question or comment otherwise will edit. Yes, please.
Thank you, Prabhu. You brought out so many instructive aspects for it. Initially, you mentioned that this particular aspect, pastime itself, so bewildering at many levels. First time when I was reading this particular line, also seeing the purport, he was enjoying not only with his wife, many other women. So that was like, first of all, he's a Brahmana, he's a Vaishnava, and he's a perfect yogi. And why? Of course, Sambhamani himself gave his daughter Devavati. I was initially in the impression that only Kshatriyas marry many wives. So Brahmanas also used to have them.
Brahmana can marry definitely more than one. First of all, I mean, you're telling, let me read. Although he was enjoying with his wife and many other women, so we have to be very careful. The many other women were serving his wife. Nowhere it is written, means they were serving. They were maybe like, they were bringing their food and arranging everything. They were doing service to him. He was enjoying with his wife and many other women. Means they were all servant maids. They were actually they were serving her. When I read it, that's what I understood. No. That is my answer actually.
Sorry.
If I have actually know what is that I have read Brahmana also marries more than one, Brahmana many, what is that? They would accept a Kshatriya wife, a Vaishudra wife, and what is that? A Brahmanical wife, These two Varnas allowed actually. Any other question or comment? Yes, sir.
Just wanted to share what I heard in the context of my Prabhu's question. That if the Sadhu we are hearing, when we also hear there is an ocean of sugarcane juice, there is an ocean of mango juice, it's so hard for us to understand that. But if every time we put our understanding on what is right and what is wrong, it's very hard to accept this picture as it is because Bhagavatam is so pure. That's how it leads when the doubts come and we get stuck. We cannot go to the river of the gopis understanding them. These are leading to that pastimes where it gets more intense. So accepting as it is and not questioning based on what's correct and wrong can help us.
I want to add here. Sugarcane juice, I don't have any problem accepting liquor juice. But when there is a philosophical clarification, you utilize the Shastra. You need to utilize one because everything is weighed and everything is, yes, you see through the eyes of Shastra Chakshu. Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse actually. Yes, Shastra Vidim Utsrajya Vartate Kamakaraka. It has to support. If you cannot understand, then we should ask somebody else. But clarification has to be sought. Samsayatma Vinashyate, simple thing like sugarcane juice and liquor juice, we don't know, we accept it. Giving the analogy of mosquito and what is it, a big football, you put a tiny ant there. Football, ant cannot measure it. But likewise, many things we cannot understand, we can go accept and go forward. But when it comes to the Shastri conclusions, why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is so great, Sanatana Goswami is so great? Because Krishna would come and clarify them actually. So I developed so much faith on Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's teachings is because any time you would get a doubt, Krishna would come and clarify. So then that's why we should also read or serve so that we get the revelation. Chakshudan dilo jay janme janme Prabhu say. Why are we serving spiritual master? He'll impart you, he'll give you the chakshudan, he'll impart that knowledge actually. Krishna will impart that knowledge, that's what I can tell. It's very
That's true, Prabhu. I left that part where he said, you don't stop because you have the doubt, but you continue hearing and serving, then it will be.
I know. Second thing in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what is that? The two verses, Yesham Tantagatam. No. Yesham, Tesham Evanakam Partham Hamujnana Jamtam Nasham Atma Vavastha Jnana Dipen Masat. Krishna, what is the prerogative of Bhakti Yogi? Bhakti Yogi, Krishna himself will illuminate the heart if you're sincere. And if you're sincere, Guru will do that. That's important actually.
It also depends on which stage we are right now. Like person like you who are in Manomaya stage, if some doubt is not clear, that lingers in the mind.
It lingers in the mind, and that's why we should seek clarification. Adigadar was introducing Amarendra Prabhu. One time in our temple class, he said, advancement is not number of years or age, it's based on the realization. It touched me actually, I agreed, that's true. It's not how many years, but the realization. You might have achieved that stage in the previous life itself. As simple as that. Amazing. Dhruva achieved it at the age of 5. Prahlad achieved it at the age of 5. Any other question or comment?
You are not like as long as you attach to material things or relations, you are not you cannot surrender to Krishna fully. But how practical for you? Like, of course, you're not attached to the money or position, but at least attached to the family, kids or grandkids. How do we know we're not? It's a line, right? How much?
Spiritualize the attachment. So tomorrow your son or daughter will come and embrace you. You say, don't go away from here, I don't want that. No, not like that. Spiritualize the attachment. Make them, spiritualize the attachment means as much as possible between them and you, Krishna. Whatever, you try to give as much Krishna as possible. Then Krishna, what he will do at the right time, Janetya Svairagyam Jnanam Cha Yaddahetikam. What Krishna will do in your life, you tried your best to give Krishna to them, to your attachments, whoever they are. At right time, he'll give you detachment. Knowledge and detachment. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prajajita Janeti Asu Vairagyam Jnanam. These two things Krishna will give. Nobody will give these two things. Only Krishna worship you get it. Jnana, knowledge and right detachment. Maharaj Parikshit, he was a king. King means they're actually, of course, pure devotee. But king, Kshatriya means what? Rajaguna. But at the right time, when he heard he was cursed to die in 7 days, he disconnected himself in 1 second. He could wear a coffin and walk out. How could he exhibit that type of renunciation? Bhagavatam says because throughout his life he rendered service to Krishna. Up to that point, he was very Janmajaya, his son is great. He made his son king. So what type of son? What type of training he gave? Janmajaya was ready to become a king. And he was a Kshatriya too. He performed a fire sacrifice, Sarpayagam. He wanted to kill everyone, including Takshaka. That is Kshatriya. Devotee. Father is a devotee, son is also devotee. So the point is, when you try to Krishnaize your relationships, Krishna is everything you are dealing with. A day will come without your knowledge, you will be elevated. One devotee asked in Geetanagari retreat, His Holiness Radhana Swami, every year you come and tell Maharaj about Haridas Thakur, about Mukunda, what is his name, Kola Sridhar, It's painful because year after year after year, same impurities haunt us. And on one hand, we are relishing Haridas Thakur pastime. On another hand, we are miserable because I'm not changing after chanting 16 notes this many years. Maharaj said, just continue doing it. Without your knowledge, one day you'll be lifted to a position you're looking for. Without your knowledge, it will happen. He said that. Continue doing it. So likewise, rather than thinking attachment as a problem, you see that as an opportunity and spiritualize your attachment. You try as much as possible and give Krishna to that attachment, whether they'll take it or not. But from your side, a day will come, one day Krishna will give you a right detachment. That is my experience. Yes, Bhagavad. Huh? I didn't get it. Kardamani asked for son, that's your question. I didn't ask.
I remember you said Vasudeva.
Okay, this is a question.
The question is,
No. My question is, didn't Kardamani ask when he got darshan of Vishnu, he didn't ask, he wanted to be blessed as son. He wanted to bless him as a Supreme Lord as his own son. No.
What I remember is he asked for
I remember he asked for wife for him. I don't remember him specifically asking that the Supreme Person should become his son. But I think the Supreme Lord said yes. I just want to check it for you.
No, because otherwise why should Brahma refer Swayambhu Manu Kardamuni? My experience, my understanding, whatever is in my mind is he is blessed with the progeny and he pleased the Supreme Lord and Supreme Lord is going to take birth as his son. That's why, he wanted, Brahma wanted Swayambhu Manu to give his daughter to Kardamuni. That's my thing in my mind. Louder. Okay, tell Mataji. Scientists discovered the oceans of liquor and
they actually observe they actually
He asked for a wife, but when the Lord replies, he said, I shall manifest my own family. So the Lord says, I will, but he didn't ask.
no, Brahma knew Kardamuni will be blessed with a son who is Krishna himself. Any other question or comment? Otherwise, we'll end it. Yes. Louder.
Who understands Krishna as a versatile God. Who understands Krishna as a versatile God. So he accepts all the philosophical, but sometimes he has hard time having faith, like Rama pastime, like why Ramachandra has to banish Sita for the second time, things like that. So when we say it's Leela, then somehow when you don't have right answer, you put Leela. So this bargaining, and with my ability, I could not say the answer. So I want to ask you that.
Nice question.
What should we do in such a situation? I am not at that level, and myself I am struggling. So how
Simple answer is, I don't know. That is the best answer. Radhikaraman said this. Because his PhD and people expect him to answer everything. He used to have this burden, but one day he said, no, I don't need to know everything. So he started telling, I really do not know. People, rather than beating around the bush, trying to give some answer, is an expression of false ego. He said, simple answer, I don't know. That humility will convey a better answer to the, will satisfy the, a person who is asking the question. Coming back to your question, first of all, there is an internal reason for Lord Ramchandra banishing Sita. There is an external reason. I want everyone to hear. Internal reason is, external reason, first of all, we should know the times changed a lot. We cannot even perceive what it was that time. Because today, without lying, you will never get a job. Without cheating, you will never get a job. So we are so much used to cheating. These are the times. But what was the time Treta Yuga? Not even Dwapar actually. Raghukula Reet Sadachale Aay, Pran Jai par Vachana na Jai. What is Ramchandra's ruling? Ikshvaku ruling, Ikshvaku dynasty ruling. They are willing to lose their life, not the word. If you are in India, you should know you'll be part of bribery. You cannot avoid that. Even if you are a very exalted personality, if you on day-to-day basis, if you want to get along, you are somewhere, you become part of the bribery. For sure. There are people who told me I came to America to avoid that, escape that. So that much world has become corrupt. Not to speak of lying. Lying is words. So this is activity. So this is exactly like we are so much used to Monday to Friday, we can't remember I'm a spirit soul because you're so much used to eating, waiting, sleeping, and defending. You cannot imagine yourself spiritual world. There is no influence of time. Because your conditioning is so much. Anyway, coming back to answer. So that time was different from this time. The values are very high to the extent if a child of a family gives birth and a child dies, in Dwapar Yuga, this Brahmana is going and telling Sugrasena, hey, your ruling is some fault, there is some fault. Otherwise, why my son dies, why my 7 children died continuously? I find fault with you. Today, more than 50% of children die when parents are alive. So this is not even this is even Dwapara, not even Satyuga. But imagine Ramachandra's time, what was even morality was like. So now coming back to the answer, the external reason is Lord Ramchandra is a Kshatriya. When Sita was abducted by Ravana as a husband, as a king, a Kshatriya king, he killed Ravana and he tested Sita. He knew very well Sita was very pure, but his words with Sita were very harsh. Vibhishan went and told Sita, you decorate yourself. Sita said, no, I will not decorate myself. You take bath, wear new saree and come. She said, I will not do it. Why? This is the saree my husband saw me. Wife and husband relations are very fragile, not even today, those days also. Maybe nowadays it may be a little easy now. She's telling, I will not change my saree. I want my husband to know I'm wearing the same saree. 1 year ago, he saw me with. He may be God, but for her, his husband. But the Vibhishan said, no, it is Ram's order. He wanted you to dress. Means what? You are wiping out a proof of your chastity. How many of you are understanding?
Yes.
But this is Treta Yuga. What she did? She listened, though she did not want to. That was her surrender, chaste wife. And war was over. Oh, everyone was sitting. This war happened because of her. So they were bringing in a palanquin. Ram became serious. Why she is in the palanquin? Tell her to walk. He never used these words. When Sita, if you live with somebody for 1 year, and those of you are married, you know very well other person. She knew him very well. When she got down, she started walking. He said, as Kshatriya kings, to uphold the dignity of Raghuvamsa, I protected her. I don't, she stayed in somebody's home for 1 year. Lakshman, tell her, she can marry you, she can marry Vibhishan, she can marry her, she can marry Sugriva, she can marry anybody. Sita said, if only I knew this, you will say like this, I would have killed myself before Hanuman came. Why I'm telling this pastime is, it will take few minutes for me. She got into the fire, to cut the story short. And Agnidev brought her up and said, Lord Ram, she is very chaste. And Ram smiled and said, I know she is very chaste, but I wanted the whole world to know her chastity. Sita, if today Sita, she would file divorce there and then. You know I'm chaste, but you want to prove this world? Is a game or what? Why I'm telling this is, that is how things would work those days. But unfortunately, everybody there, all these millions of monkeys watched, all the demoniac ladies and of Lanka watched. But people, end of the day, world is world. Even though only yugas changed, people mentality is like that. So this washerman, he started speaking. It's only one washerman. But Ram, what he did, he tells his brothers, hey, look, till this day, there was not even a blemish on Raghukul till now, till this day. Do you know it was called Ikshvakumsa? It's not called Raghuvamsa. But the Raghu excelled in his behavior. Maharaj Raghu. That's how Ikshvakumsa became Raghuvamsa. Very interesting. It did not become Ramvamsa. Raghu is not Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ram is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now imagine what is Raghu's caliber. So then, is he the only one? Yes, people are speaking like this. No, people are speaking. Then he requests his brothers, hey, you take Bharat. That day, I should have given you the kingdom. He said, no, I cannot. Because it's the strict rules. Everyone would follow. Because Satyuga, Treta Yuga means offense at the mental level is also sin. Not Kali Yuga. Ram did not banish her. Banish means you will leave her on the road. He said, leave her in the Valmiki ashram. And Ram didn't marry. He was also very young. And if you see from Sita's side, she became pregnant. In today's day and age, my children, my side only. No, you should not talk to Ram. No. They practiced Ramayana. They sang Ramayana. And Sita told them, you go to Ayodhya and sing Ramayana. And reveal the glory and purity of Sita, purity of Ram also. So you should understand the relationship between the love and affection between Sita and Ram, even after this whole thing happened. So because the value was for morals, today value is for money. But those day values for morals. When there was a problem for the moral and king would be affected, king would lose respect. She was sent to the forest to be taken care under the shelter of Valmiki Muni. She was not banished. That is external reason. Internal reason is they like Jay and Vijay, right? Always, they wanted to fight Jay and Vijay, but they also told stop Lakshmi ji from coming in. There are so many reasons how Jay and Vijay fall and how they fell down. The internal reason is in spiritual circles, spiritual life, the topmost is two things, Sambhoga and Vipralamba. Sambhoga means union, Vipralamba means separation. In separation, you'll remember that you'll see that person more. Radharani would see Krishna more in Krishna's absence. Stavara Jangam Dake Nadegatar Murti, Sarvatra Spore Ishtadeva Murti. Something like that. So Stavara and Jangam, moving and non-moving, you can see. So internal reason is Ram wanted to experience that Vipralambha. So Ram would see Sita every moving and non-moving. Sita would see Ram moving and non-moving. They are very united. This is the internal reason. Okay. So people do add there's so many things for this. No. She was not banished. She was sent to the Valmiki ashram. And not that, okay, Sita went, let me marry. No, he didn't marry either. If we speak like this, then it will uphold the chastity of Sita and Ram also. Does it answer the question? Anything else? Otherwise, we'll end it now. No. Thank you very much. Just spoken anything now? Excuse me, as sir. Anyone wants to add anything online? Thank you. Randrashram Bhagavatam ki Jai Shri